Hello everyone, this is part 26 of What If Naruto was banished and becomes Master Swordsman, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Battlefield. Orange and red flames flared up around Senzaru as he glared at his enemy. The phoenix tattoo that was on his left forearm began to glow. As he raised his arm to the side, two flames from his tattoo erupted from the left wing of the tattoo and another from the right wing. The flames circled the other as it stretched out past his hand to about 67 inches. When the flames joined, the outline of a sword revealed itself. When the glow and the flames decorating the sword died down, the phoenix claw was shown in all its glory. Holding the stainless steel blade with a silver phoenix wing crossguard and a Xeno's head for the pommel, the Junin looked fiercely at Aizu, whose eyes began to narrow. Aizu analyzed the situation. That girl, she's a mist shinobi, yet she's helping them. I will deal with the mist soon enough. Right now Senzaru is the one I have to focus on. That girl will be next since her knowledge of Fuan Jutsu is great. Gripping his sword slightly, his eyes radiated his discontent for the girl and her abilities. Maybe if I take her down then, his thoughts were cut short when the phoenix claw came within inches of his face. Using the speed that was granted to him by the powers of his dragon contract, Aizu avoided the slash by jumping back. When he landed, Senzaru was standing between him and Savia. Don't even think about it. I'm your opponent, Senzaru informed. His next set of words were directed at Naya, Hinata, and Savia. You three form a barrier around everyone. This battle is going to become too dangerous. Naya was well aware of the danger that this battle implicated. Her only wonder was, did Senzaru get his power back? Looking at Hinata and Savia, we're going to form a barrier. A level 7 barrier is what we're going for here. Hinata eyes widen a little. Level 7. Sensei, that isn't posse. Yes it is. But don't worry Hyuga, with the skill set of both my mother and myself, you really don't have to do too much. Just keep up with the hand signs and make sure that you are in perfect sync, got it? Savia said to Hinata, who nodded her head. Naya glanced at Savia. What barrier do you have in mind? You already know. Naya took in a deep breath. This barrier, even for her, was something that was hard to do. But she remembered that she did have Hinata and Savia, so it wouldn't be as hard but still difficult given the complexity of it. Naya spoke slowly and carefully. Hinata, this is beyond your skill set. Jiraiya-sensei. Yes Naya. I will need your sealing ability in forming, tenon. Landing next to Naya, Jiraiya replied. I understand, but I know. We can't worry about that now. Let's hurry before we get caught in their battle. Looking at Savia and Jiraiya, she signaled them that the time was now. Jiraiya formed the tiger seal, Naya the seal of the boar, and Savia the seal of the monkey. Simultaneously, they all yelled out, Fuan, Tenon Kekai, underneath everyone. The unicursal hexagon mark formed underneath everyone. Shinji, who was still very much injured, extended his hand out reaching for his cousin who was far away. Hayami, I have to get to her. Before he could move, Tsunade grabbed his hand. Don't, you will be disintegrated into nothing if you step outside of this seal mark. But she's not protected, he will attempt to kill her again. I have to. Hinata cut him off this time. Shinji-kun, don't worry about Hayami, she's safe. Remember, Sasuke is there and he will protect her. Also, Senzaru won't let anything happen to her, that I'm certain. Temari glanced over at Sasuke. What transformation is that? Is it a result of the curse seal? Sakura nodded then answered, it's the third level of the seal. Upon his return a few years back, he trained to achieve it. He mentioned something about the seal having another level. He was certain because the person whose cells they used to form the seals, Juugo of Tenpin, had reached the third level. Since he could do such a feat, Sasuke himself believed it was an attainable goal. Gaara observed Sasuke for a moment then came to a conclusion. Judging by his expression, he is doing everything he can to stay in that form. His chakra is too low to maintain it, and even then, I'm not sure he could maintain for too long. That is also true. Level 3 is a double-edged sword to Sasuke right now. When Sakura informed everyone of this, Sasuke reverted back to his normal form. Neji spoke up, seems like the Uchiha has reached his limit. He barely has enough chakra to move around. The scream that came from Konohamaru caused everyone to turn toward the Chunin. Damn. Naruto Nisan, how could you die? You're invincible, no one can beat you. I can't believe it, he can't be dead. This isn't real. Tears were falling down the teen's eyes. Hanabi placed a hand on his shoulder to comfort him. Yumi's words shocked everyone. Konohamaru-kun, Naruto, he isn't dead. What are you talking about, Yumi? Ino asked. Chuin felt bad for the girl. She knew what it was like to lose a loved one and be in denial, but she needed to bring the girl to reality. It would benefit her to come to realize the truth. Look, Yumi, I know you love Naruto and death. Well, that's something we hope never occurs. It hurts me more than you know, but Naruto is dead. I'm sorry, Tsunade-sama, but you're wrong. I can't explain it, but he isn't dead. He's far from here, even on another plane of existence, who knows, but he is definitely not dead, yet. The light is dim, but it still burns. He is alive, I know it. Yumi said with no falsity in her voice. She was certain. Konohamaru grabbed her. Are you sure that Naruto Nisan is alive, Yumi-nichan? Yes, I am certain. She said with a smile. This caused the boy to smile as well. Yugao, who was staring at Senzaru, spoke so all could hear. Senzaru is about to do battle. The group turned their attention to the fight about to start. Senzaru was glanced behind himself to see mark on the ground. Good, no one can interfere. Sasuke, you and Hayami are the only ones outside of the barrier, protect her. Glancing towards Sasuke, you make sure you protect her. I can't say for certain that you guys won't get caught up in this battle. It's really something that I can't control, Sasuke understood. He jumped back as far as he could away from everyone with Hayami tucked under his left arm, and Naruto in his right. Aizu didn't like what was happening, but he knew there was nothing that could be done. He would have to fight Senzaru to the death, there was no escaping it. Gripping his sword, black flames rose from beneath his feet high in the air. Reddish-orange flames did the same for Senzaru, indicating that both warriors were powering up. With a blink of an eye, the ground erupted into rubble where both men once stood meeting in the center. The ground beneath them caved in due to the force of the chakra and swords clashing. Fading from view once more, the two was high above everyone. Senzaru didn't waste time swinging his sword at Aizu, who blocked the sword aimed at his head. Pushing Senzaru's sword back, he swung his sword with the intent of cutting Senzaru in half at his waist. His sword connected with Senzaru, at least that's what it looked like until his form turned into flames that were split in half by the black blade. Appearing behind the Aizu, who was surprised by the display movement, Senzaru, whose sword was in his right hand, said with extreme seriousness, I'm not in the mood to sandbag, I'm killing you, no. The silver blade turned a fiery orange. Bringing the sword in a swift swing from his hip in an upward slash, a trail of orange flame followed, hoping to make contact with Aizu, but he knew it was just wishful thinking. That much was true when Aizu countered, with slashing dragon's claw. Both swords were stopped by the other. Black flame met with orange, causing a mini explosion in the air that propelled both warriors back to the ground. Landing a distance away from one another, both analyzed the situation. Senzaru's first thought was, he countered at that distance. I should have suspected his speed was at that level by looking at his fight with Naruto. I overestimated my ability and thought I could end it with one strike. Cutting nail of the phoenix was cancelled out by dragon's claw. It's to be expected, I guess. Well, it seems like he is definitely at his max level at this form, and so am I. I really have to end this soon. Aizu, on the other hand, was thinking something differently. Senzaru, his speed, he has improved, but I was still able to counter. He was the last person I wanted to fight, but I have no choice. What's my next move? I could summon Sorrows and we can wreak havoc on this village. But then he would summon that blasted Phoenix Xenos and we would, in the best case scenario, kill one another while destroying the leaf. What to do? I could do that, but, wait a minute, why is he going for the killing blow so early in the fight? That's not like Senzaru. Something is amiss here. Let's see how this one plays out. I don't know what you are up to, but I will find out. Senzaru charged at Aizu, who was standing still at full force. Using his abilities granted to him from his alliance with the dragons, Aizu summoned dragons from his sword with the intent on defending him from Senzaru. Swinging his sword in his hand, he sliced one of the dragons in half. Jumping to the side to avoid the other one, he planted his sword in the side of the dragon, engulfing it in reddish flames. Another dragon was coming at him from behind, but doing a 180 spin, he slashed at the dragon. It looked as if his sword missed by an inch, until the dragon burst into flames. Aizu didn't move from his location. He just placed his sword behind him to shield himself from the phoenix claw that was now pressed against it. Turning to his left, he pushed Senzairu back. In a Kasumi no Kame stance, Aizu's sword was at eye level. He was in a position to defend as well as attack. Senzairu soon realized that he was preparing for an attack when the black flames were getting sucked into the blade. Shit, that attack I have too. Aizu saw the expression on Senzairu's face and smiled, too late. Bringing his sword down to his left hip, he thrust it forward at his enemy. From the blade, a highly concentrated black laser-type beam came at Senzairu full force. The blast connected, causing a large explosion seen within a 100-mile radius of Konoha. Hokage Monument. The shinobi of the Leaf Village, along with the people that were present in the stadium, continued to watch the battle from afar. Tsunami, whose hands was resting by her heart, looked on worried. I wonder if Naruto is okay. Not at all, he's dead. Tsunami, Inari, Tazuna and everyone turned to the voice that informed them of the bad news. Sai, who was sitting on Shodime's head, continued to speak. It seems Naruto was killed by Aizu. Protecting that little girl, he exchanged his life for hers. You're wrong, he's not dead. It just can't be. Inari said in disbelief. Sorry to inform you, kid, but it's true. The sword was placed in his gut. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Either way, I have business I need to take care of. A mission I have yet to complete. Before Inari could say anything else, Sai was gone. The villagers that heard the news started chanting, the demon is finally dead. We are now safe. Mai, who was looking around at everyone, shook her head. Naruto, how could you die on Yumi? I can't believe you are dead. I won't. Foolish people, they celebrate your death even though you fought for them. Mai looked around and noticed that a few were not cheering. In fact, there were a lot that had their head down. Aruka-san must have gotten through to some of them. Looking to the sky, please Naruto, you have to come back. Limbo. Sneezing, Naruto wiped his nose with his hand. Somebody must be talking about me. So, what's this you say about becoming the bearer of the light? Looking down at Naruto from his location, he answered the boy's question. Naruto. To achieve the final 2 techniques associated with the sword, you must master bearer of the light. You did read about the jutsu in the scrolls, did you not? Nodding, yes, I did. But it just said special requirements to reach this technique and that was it. Really didn't explain what it was. I figure it was just one of those techniques that you would achieve through wisdom and years of training. So you're saying being near death is the only way to reach it? That's exactly what I'm saying, Naruto. Here, I believe this belongs to you. The young ivory-haired spirit threw the blade at Naruto, who caught it with the greatest of ease. Naruto held the blade and gave it a once-over. Glancing at the man who had yet to reveal his name, Naruto asked, so what happens now? A smirk appeared on his face. What happens now is, you fight. Only through fighting will you truly understand who I am and why you have been chosen. You think you know, but I don't think you fully understand. What can you expect from such a hard-headed person, seriously? Naruto heard a familiar voice that caused him to tense up. Well, he made it this far, that's to be expected of my son. Another familiar was caused Naruto to turn around in an instant to see 2 people he missed dearly. Raiho-sensei. Carson, is that really you? Naruto asked, needing some validation. Before Raiho or Kaori could answer, Naruto heard another voice that he hadn't heard in years. So, you've grown into a fine young man, I see, Naruto. Turning to his left, standing on the cliff above, he saw Sandaime, Ji-san. Naruto heard a soft voice of a lady behind him. I can't believe it, it's really you. Turning around, he knew instantly that this woman was his mother. He couldn't explain how he knew, but he just did. Looking down at the woman, Naruto took a step closer. You're my Carson, aren't you? The lady just nodded. They didn't have to say anything. The silence and the gaze at which their eyes met said everything. Standing in a trance, both were broken free when Naruto heard a voice on his right. Wow, last time I saw you I was holding you in my hands and now you're just as tall as me. Yondaime Hokage, was all Naruto could say. Minato was a little surprised that his son would address him so formally. He glanced over at Sarutobi. Don't tell me he doesn't know Sarutobi. Naruto answered, I know that you're my father, I'm just surprised to see all of you guys here. Especially you and Ji-san. Ero Sennin informed me that once someone is swallowed by the death god that they are stuck in its stomach for eternity. Yondaime shook his head, that's what we thought too, however, it seems that the death god spares all who are willing to make such a sacrifice and provide them with safe passage to the other side. So I am dead, Naruto said, scratching his head. Not really. We were actually brought here by. Naruto didn't hear the name his father said. His father's voice became mute when the name of the blade was mentioned. It didn't go unnoticed to Naruto that more and more men and women appear around him. These people he didn't recognize, but he was curious to who the hell they were. He immediately looked at the guy that was responsible for him being here. What the hell is this and who are they? Oh, them, just former wielders of the blade, you know, people who have achieved the final level. You will be fighting all of them to the death. Killing them will only send them back to heaven. There are some that you far exceed in ability, however, don't let that go to your head. Chances are you will not survive. I will give one bit of advice, so listen carefully. Listen for the name Naruto and you will hear it. Turning his back on the boy, he walked away. Naruto yelled out, hey you fucking bastard, what does that mean? Before he could say anything, he saw blood flying in front of his eyes. Feeling a burning sensation, he looked down to see that his stomach was slashed. The cause of the slash was a female who was crouching and had her sword extended to the far right. All he could do was curse her as he dropped to one knee, you fucking. He felt a sharp pain going across his back that caused him to tense up. Naruto looked around to see that everyone there held the blade that he held in his hand. He started putting two and two together. I get it, I have to fight all of the wielders. This sucks ass major, Naruto said as he picked himself up off of the ground. Slipping into the Manashu stance, a stance in which all was in, Naruto surveyed the area. His biological parents were now standing on a hill next to Sandaime and Kaori. Raiho appeared in front of his pupil and gave his goofy smile, kind of remind you of the test of will, only difference you will be able to fight with everything you have. Naruto, you do understand what will happen if you lose here today, correct? Naruto nodded, yes. With that said, I don't have any time to waste. Naruto phased out of view. The female who was standing amongst the 100 or so wielders couldn't understand why she was falling to her knees until the cut started to slowly appear across her chest. Landing behind her, completely surrounded, Naruto smirked, I'm sure you all are great, but I don't have time to sit and play with you guys. Bring it on and show me what you got. Raiho's father landed next to Raiho and said, damn, this fucking kid is really cocky. Raiho just nodded in agreement. Sandaime couldn't help but smile, seems you are still the same Naruto. Uzumaki Kushina couldn't believe how cocky her son was, how can he be this arrogant? Turning to Minato, who was grinning from ear to ear as he watched Naruto. Oh yeah, that's why. His arrogance and self-assurance definitely is an inherent trait from his father. Kaori shouted out, Naruto, hurry up and end this. Yumi-chan and Hayami are waiting for you. Naruto glanced at Kaori, who was smiling at him. Don't worry Carson, I will finish this in no time. Minato nodded his approval, that's my son. The spirit of the blade had enough of this test begins now, kill him. Naruto found everyone closing in on him. Throwing his sword high in the air, Naruto smiled when everyone got within inches of him with their blades. All everyone saw was a yellow flash. Minato, Sandaime, Kaori, and Kushina were surprised to see Naruto in mid-air, holding the blade high above his head. He knows the Hiraishin, I see Jiraiya-sensei has given him my scroll. Minato pointed out. Sandaime noted Naruto's speed and his use of Hiraishin, it seems that you have surpassed me, I knew that was coming. The one to carry the wool, that was you from the beginning, I see that now. Naruto, who was still in the air with the sword high above his head, whispered to himself, Genjutsu, bringing the blade down in a slashing motion, white chakra left the blade and came at everyone on the ground. Raiho's father, who really didn't like Naruto, due to his cocky display, jumped toward the incoming attack. As Genjutsu got close to him, he maneuvered around it, and appeared in front of Naruto, who had to block the incoming blade or get sliced in half. Heaven's blade met Heaven's blade. As the two was falling toward the ground, Naruto, who was beneath Anshin, looked into the eyes of the man who looked at the boy with disgust. I can't believe that you were selected over Shinji to wield this blade. It's no wonder why you are in limbo. You're cocky and think that your power is the end-all power. How do you expect to wield the blade to its fullest potential with this attitude? Anshin said to the boy. They could hear Genjutsu hitting the ground and taking down a few wielders, mainly the ones weaker than Naruto, and that was only a few. The numbers against him were still high. Knowing that he was going to make impact with the ground soon, he held his sword firm above his head and moved his legs in position to brace himself. As soon as his foot made contact with the ground, it broke up beneath him. He was shielding himself from Anshin's blade and could sense two figures appear on his side. Shit, if I don't move, they're going to cut me in half. Naruto really didn't know what he could do with the amount of time he had until he realized he could teleport within a 1-meter radius of the blade. He teleported behind Anshin, avoiding the slash from the other two incomers, and placed a kick that sent Ryo's father falling forward. Grabbing his sword, he was going to bring it down and send the man back to heaven. However, Ryo stopped the blade from making contact. Forcing Naruto back, Naruto found himself in the middle, surrounded completely, even from above. Ignoring the pain from the slash on his back and stomach, Naruto couldn't help but smile at the situation. Again, for the millionth time in his life, or so it would seem, the odds weren't in his favor. Well, can't cry about how unfair this is. I'm used to being the underdog. It's the norm for me. All of you better not underestimate me. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, the greatest shinobi in the world, and when it's all said and done, I will be the greatest wielder there ever was. The spirit of the blade, who had his arms folded, formed a small smile on his face. We shall see, Naruto, we shall see. Konoha Stadium 5 minutes later. Standing about 100 yards away from the battle, Sasuke, who just shifted out of CS3, was holding Hayami, while Naruto lay on the floor. Sasuke could see the huge cylinder of a beam starting from where Senzaru was, rising past the clouds and into the heavens. What was that jutsu? That was definitely black fire condensed and concentrated so that it appeared as a beam. This guy, such power, and to use it the way that he has been using it. Sasuke noted. He then glanced down at Hayami. The girl was starting to come to in his arms. Slowly opening her eyes, her vision was blurry. She could make out a man with dark hair holding her but wasn't quite sure who it was. When her vision finally cleared, a concerned-looking Sasuke came into view. Sasuke-san, trying to get herself together, everything that happened before she was knocked out came back to her. Looking to her left, she could Naruto laying face up. She immediately jumped out of Sasuke's arm and took a step toward Naruto. Sasuke wanted to say something but he couldn't. He just watched and waited for the girl to cry. What shocked him is when her tears never came. Instead, she looked at Naruto. It's okay, Sasuke-san, I'm not going to cry. Crying won't bring Naruto-Nisan back. I now understand what father was trying to tell me, and I now see and understand why Naruto-Nisan was so strong. Father was right, I need to get stronger. If I was stronger, then he could have saved himself with worrying about me. I will get stronger so I can protect everyone and defend myself. Naruto-Nisan, I promise I will become stronger. I'm going to make you, father and mother, proud of me. Sasuke smirked at the little girl. Well, getting strong is good and all, but it will take some time. You won't get the strength you need to do what you wish to do at this moment. Trust me, I know. I don't want revenge, Sasuke-san. I just want to protect everyone from him. But I'm not strong enough, yet, she said as she turned toward the battlefield. HMPH, we'll see. Sasuke said. On the battlefield. The dust was starting to settle down and everyone under the seal wondered what was going on. Shinji was too worried about his cousin that he really wasn't focused on the fight. Tsunade was worried about her son, of course. In her mind she just lost one and now it was chance that she lost another. The dust started to clear and standing with his black blade resting at his side, was Aizu, wearing a grin of satisfaction. Glancing at everyone in the barrier, he addressed each of them. It seems that the only two warriors who had a remote chance to stop me are all gone. What will you all do now? It's not too late to surrender, you know. Savaya's smile bothered Aizu. Why are you smiling, girl? You assume too quickly that you have killed your opponent. How cocky of you, Raikage Dono. She said the last part with a hint of sarcasm. Before he could say anything else, two phoenix were coming at him from above at full force. Preparing to swing his sword at the phoenixes, a slightly bloodied and bruised Senzaru appeared behind him. There was no way Aizu could dodge the incoming attack and avoid Senzaru at the same time. The two phoenix crashed into the ground where Aizu was causing an explosion. Jumping out of the dust that was created from the blast, Aizu was holding his stomach with blood covering his hand. Stepping out of the dust, a slightly battered Senzaru spoke, "So you decided to take the slash, I see. We are both injured now and this makes it that much easier." Aizu let go of his stomach. "Don't get overconfident, I got sloppy. It's going to take more than a slash to take me down, you of all people know that. What about you? I know that you are hurt as well. Just because you used purple flame cutter at the last minute doesn't negate the fact that you took damage." Senzaru responded, "True, however." Aizu narrowed his eyes when he saw the cuts on Senzaru's body start to turn neon orange. Senzaru continued, "You forget what I'm capable of." Aizu started to laugh, "You're really funny. I have not forgotten, Senzaru, but maybe you have. Well, if I must refresh your memory, then I will do so by bringing you and this village to its knees by summoning sorrows." Senzaru, Naya, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and everyone who was aware of the King of the Dragons knew that this fight had just elevated to the next level. With the blood already on his hand, black flames destroyed the bandage on his left arm, revealing a tribal dragon tattoo. Senzaru cursed himself. "Shit, Xenos never said after the training that he would come to my aid. If he doesn't, then this fight is pretty much over. Well, we'll find out in a few seconds." Flying through hand signs, both warriors slammed their hand onto the ground, and simultaneously said, "Kuchio's no jutsu." High above in the sky, a large black portal appeared. A black dragon with red eyes exited out of the portal and hovered above Konoha. Underneath Senzaru, an orange portal appeared. He was engulfed by the beam as it extended its reach to the sky. All who was present at the stadium saw a large reddish-orange bird shoot out of the portal, elevating Senzaru along with itself. When the phoenix was high in the air, the beam faded and orange and red flames danced it. High above Konoha, everyone could now see Xenos, the Phoenix King. Floating in the air with both of the owners of their respective contracts beneath them, the summons of legend was finally face to face with one another. Xenos was the first to speak. "Why have you summoned me, Senzaru? You already know, Xenos, why even ask?" The bird did know, but he wanted an answer. He turned to see Sorrows and Aizu. "I see you are still trying to bring down that kid. It seems that we will be engaged in battle once more, Sorrows." The large dragon nodded. "So it would seem, old friend. This fight will be determined by the skill of our users. I really don't wish to fight you, Xenos, but it cannot be helped." "I suppose not. Either way, you better not hold back," Xenos said. "When have I ever?" Sorrows responded. Xeno's next words were directed at Senzaru. "Let's make the first move." Doing a few hand seals, Senzaru yelled, "Now." Xenos wasted no time in shooting a bullet of fire from his mouth. The purple flame flew at Sorrows, who glanced at Aizu. "It." Aizu jumped toward the flame and split it in half, while Sorrows shot a stream of fire, attacking from beneath Xenos. As Aizu came close, he aimed his sword at Senzaru and two dragons came toward him and both Xenos. Senzaru jumped in the air while Xenos turned to the side to avoid the black flame that Sorrows shot at him. The two were now separated. Aizu smiled. "Worked like a charm." Senzaru, who was coming toward him, said, "What worked like a charm?" Flying out of a portal, Senzaru landed on the blue-flamed phoenix and flew off to Aizu's right. Another portal opened in the sky, and Aizu could sense that he was a target for an attack. Shooting from the portal was a multitude of fiery phoenixes, all closing in on his location. Three dragons raced toward Aizu and formed a ball around him, shielding him from the incoming blast. When the flaming birds made contact, the dragons disintegrated, leaving an exposed Aizu standing on the head of a smaller dragon. Aizu jumped off the dragon and landed on Sorrows. Senzaru landed on the phoenix's head. Both summons were standing before the other, neither making a move. Sorrows was the first to comment, "Your teamwork is commendable. Those hand signs were to create an opening and make us think that you two were using a jutsu in conjunction when it was quite the opposite. That fireball that you shot Xenos was to lure us into the belief that we could separate you two, when it was your goal to separate us. Clever as always, my friend, Xenos said. Aizu narrowed his eyes at Senzairu. So you do have a brain in your head, I see. Either way you look at it, I'm going to walk away from this one the victor. That's what you think and want to believe, but we both know that isn't the case. If I have to give my life to end yours, then I will. Senzairu said with conviction. Same old Senzairu. You already know my stance on the world and I know yours. There is no need to even try to dissuade you. Let us end this feud that has spanned for nearly 2 decades. Gripping the Phoenix Claw, orange flames rose as his chakra flared up. Aizu prepared himself as well. Black flames danced around the Cloud Village's leader. Both warriors were standing on their respective summons high above everyone else. Neither made a move, they watched one another waiting for the first attack. Down below, with everyone under the seal, Tsunade, still weak from her battle, watched the aerial display brought on by the two. She glanced over at Hayami, Sasuke and Naruto. She quickly looked away from Naruto in denial. She didn't want it to be a reality. She looked back up at the sky, hoping that the same fate didn't await her son. Sakura was watching her mentor. Glancing at Naruto, she found herself holding back tears. She understood her sensei's pain. I know it must be hard, sensei. Don't worry, Senzairu-san is awesome. No way he loses, but I did think that about Naruto. The Kaneki put her head down. She looked up and glared at the man on the dragon. She just wanted a crack at him, but she was the first to admit that she was way out of her league on this one. Glancing over at Yumi, she wondered how come she wasn't sad. Does she really believes that Naruto is still alive? She is in denial, but I guess I would be too if I lost the one I loved. Yumi was completely ignorant to Sakura's stare. All of her thoughts were directed at Naruto, who she knew was alive. Everyone turned toward the sky when they heard a loud clash. High above, in midair, both swords met once again, as both warriors leapt off their respective summons to battle. Black metal pressed against chrome stainless steel as the warriors struggled against the other, forcing each other back on their summons once more. Senzairu knew that he had only one shot at ending this battle. This fight is going to be a standstill. I have no choice but to do this. Senzairu decided that it was time to use his ultimate form. Xenos, it's time we become one. Very well, kid, but know that I'm only allowing this because you survived the test and your resolve and conviction to stop him is strong. Xenos said. Senzairu closed his eye and raised his blade high above his head. Red-orange flames engulfed both him and Xenos. Realizing what was about to happen, Aizu shifted his sword high above his head. Sorrows, it's time. The dragon nodded. Very well. Bringing the sword down onto the head of Sorrows, the blade pierced the dragon's head and his crimson eyes started to glow. Aizu held onto the sword and black flames were being drawn into his body. Black flames completely engulfed Aizu and Sorrows. A stainless steel blade poked out of the red-orange flames. Senzairu was brought the blade back into the flames and performed a horizontal slash that extended the blade to the left. That extinguished the Senzairu that everyone once recognized was no more. His appearance was now completely different from what it once was. His hair was now red with orange tips. His eyes were no longer golden brown, they were now fiery orange. Senzairu now had red wings with orange at the tip of the wings. Not too far from his location, a gust of wind caused the black flames to dissipate, revealing a transformed Aizu. Like Senzairu, his eye color changed from ice blue to crimson. With black wings adorning his back and a tail, he was now in his final form. Below, I guess they have finally revealed the true power of their respective contracts. So now we will get to see the power that was handed to us by the gods in hopes it would be used wisely. A power unlike any other, that is for sure. Jiraiya stated. Naya, who was trying to reinforce the shield as much as she could, responded, a power you rarely get to see in actual combat to comprehend what it is truly capable of, that's for sure. Those two really don't need to engage in combat for me to comprehend the power they wield. Personally, I would fail to take them in my Eight Tails form, Savia pointed out. Really? How is that so? I understand that their power has increased, but even so, you have a demon in you. Not only that, you can access all of its tails. Jiraiya said to the girl, trying to figure out how could the two be stronger than she. That's simple, I can access all 8 tails, but since I have yet to reach a level where my body can handle the full scope of 8 tails, I will never be able to grasp its full potential. It is like that with Kuin, Awesido, and even Naruto. We are vessels, and in order to assimilate this curse or gift, depending on who you are talking to, none of us will be able to fight at the potential of the Bayu within us. Even so, the legendary contractual summons and the 4 swords of legend, history has always been rooted in stopping demonic forces. The snake summon and Kusanagi, the phoenix summon and the phoenix claw, the dragon summon and dragon's fang, and heaven's blade, the sword said to be made by the hand of God itself, whose sole purpose has been to stop the evil in this world. So you see, their power goes beyond that of even mine. It seems that was the case with Naruto as well, even though he wielded heaven's blade. If what you say is true, having access to the 9 tails power wouldn't have mattered at all. Neji pointed out. It sucks Naruto-kun is gone. He really turned the tide in Konoha's favor with his appearance. I just wish he was still here. Lee said, a little sad. I told you he's not dead. It's faint, but he is still there. I don't know how to explain it, but he's still alive. Yumi said with a slight smile on her face. Hanabi shook her head. She's delusional. I will admit, Naruto dying sucked, but it is what it is. The younger Hyuga just kind of felt bad for the girl. Losing the person you love is something you don't want to think about. Looking at the slightly taller Sarutobi, she smiled. Her expression then became sad when she thought about how she would feel if something happened to him. Everyone looked up at the 2 warriors as they hovered above in mid-air. Neji, Tsunade, Shinji, who was being supported by Hinata, Sakura, Yumi, and everyone else watched on as the 2 prepared to do battle in their ultimate forms. Miles away from Konoha, the group of Cloud Shinobi stopped upon Kuin's request. The Cloud Junin that was carrying Kuin wondered why was they stopping again. Kuin-sama, why are we stopping again? Isu's power has increased. He has finally transformed to his true form. Kuin said in a serious tone. Looks like Uzumaki Naruto didn't stand a chance against my father. Rado said with confidence. He's not fighting Naruto anymore. I haven't felt Naruto chakra force for a while now, which means only one thing. What does it mean, sensei? Suki asked. It means that Naruto is dead. Everyone slightly shocked by Kuin's comment. The Junin seemed to be gloomy when coming to the realization that Naruto was dead. So who is my father fighting now? Rado questioned. I don't know this person. Wait a minute, this chakra, it was the guy in the barrier, that means he's fighting Senzairu. Kuin answered. Kuin-sama, we should be heading back to the village. The Junin holding him suggested. Nodding in agreement, Kuin and the others continued their trek back to Cloud Village. Hidden Leaf. Appearing on the ground below, both Aizu and Senzairu glared at one another with their newly transformed eyes. Senzairu was the first to break the silence. So it's been a long time since we appeared in these forms, Aizu. It has been nearly 10 years if I remember correctly. You do remember what happened in that battle, don't you? Aizu stated in a cynical and taunting manner. Senzairu returned the look. Yay, I remember you running with your tails between your leg. Not the battle I remember. I guess the healing abilities granted to you through that contract helped you recover from that slash to your chest. And I guess you fled from the injury caused by my sword that was placed in your stomach. Too bad I didn't hit a vital organ. Senzairu's comment caused Aizu to frown. Well, it seems our last 2 battles have ended in draws. There will not be a third. Aizu informed his arch nemesis. I agree. Closing his eyes, then thrusting the phoenix claw forward. A multicolored phoenix shot from the blade and started moving slowly towards Aizu. When the phoenix got about 1/3 of the way, it started to glow orange. The phoenix then exploded, creating a field of flame-colored feathers. Isu's eyes widened when all the feathers surrounded him completely. Shit, he's using phoenix feather already. I have to counter or it will cause damage. Deciding to take to the air, a feather near him exploded, causing Aizu to drop back to the ground with his sword in his right hand cocked, ready to attack. Senzairu saw the feather floating in front of his chest, as well as the others that were floating around him. He knew that just one of them going off would trigger the others, creating a huge explosion that would create an immense crater. He didn't care though. If this was what it took to take Aizu down, then it was well worth it. One word exited his mouth: checkmate. Aizu brought his arms to his face to shield himself before the feather exploded. Once the feather exploded, it triggered the other feathers, causing one big explosion. Behind the barrier, Yugao watched as her boyfriend dealt a blow that could wipe out even the strongest of shinobi. She knew it was over. Wow, I wondered what would happen if this shield wasn't in place. Savia was pumping more of her chakra into the shield to help protect everyone. Jiraiya pumped as much chakra as he could to reinforce it. Naya did so as well. What was mind-boggling was that this shield should have been able to withstand just about any attack. It was a level 7 shield. Their strength, only a Jinchuruki who has full control of their Bayu should be able to break a level 7 shield. Using my demonic chakra is the reason the barrier's in place. That just begs me to answer the question, how the hell that Senzairu guy couldn't break his shield? Unless Aizu was using his power to reinforce it himself. Thinking back, she remembered seeing a dragon tattoo on the forearm on each of the people holding up Senzairu's barrier. So they were actually drawing on his power as well as their own to keep him confined. I guess I was able to break it because I used a release seal plus I drew on my Bayu abilities. I will say this though, not only is the guy a good fighter, he is smart, or at least he was. I don't feel his chakra. Tsunade was also impressed by the attack, and the level at which it was executed. But like Savia, she too was wondering why Senzairu couldn't break free of his barrier, seeing that both had the power to shatter a normal Tenon Kekai. She finally came to the same conclusion that Savia came to: shit, he really had this planned out very well. I really underestimated the situation. How so, Hokage-sama? Tenten asked. He was in control from the beginning. He took Senzairu out of the fight early, and if it wasn't for Naruto then I would be dead and it would pretty much over. Also, that missed shinobi also helped by freeing Senzairu so he could battle with Aizu. If this wasn't done, we would surely be dead and the leaf would have fallen. Tsunade answered. Hayami is out there. I have to make sure she is okay. Let me go, Hinata. Shinji yelled out as his thoughts went to his cousin. Hinata used her Byakugan and saw Sasuke, Hayami, and Naruto's body. Shinji, Hayami is okay. Sasuke shielded her from the blast. I see Sazairu-san but I can't find the rakeage. Sensei did it. Makinu yelled out in excitement. Kakashi knew that if it was too good to be true, it usually was. So Senzairu is still alive. I got a feeling that it's not over just yet. Somewhere in Konoha, sitting in a chair at the root tree base, Danzu was contemplating his next move. I still need to be able to pull the strings from the background. This war was a perfect opportunity to solidify the leaf as the one and only powerhouse. I didn't factor that Aizu would be this powerful, but lucky Senzairu came along. Danzu jumped out of his chair to avoid a kunai that grazed him slightly. So I see you have betrayed me, I figured as much, sigh. Standing before the man with darkness looming over his figure and disguising himself from the naked eye. Sai Flash won his smiles. Sorry Danzu-sama, but I have been ordered by the Hokage-sama to eliminate all threats to the village. Do you consider me a threat? After all I have done to ensure the safety of this village, you dare call me a threat? Danzu's anger at Sai's betrayal was visible. Yes, you're as much of a threat as Aizu himself. You girls will only keep the leaf in a state of war with other nations. Danzu shook his head as he took a step forward. You really are clueless, aren't you? We are shinobi, which means we are instruments of war with one goal, to ensure that our nation prospers above the rest. Aizu understands that, which is why we are at war with Cloud. Do you think war will end? When this war ends, another one will come in its place. I've seen more than you could ever hope to see, boy. I lost more than you could ever hope to lose, and I know the only way to stop war is through war itself. So you are saying that if we are constantly at war with other nations it will stop? You aren't making any sense. Sai said calmly. It makes perfect sense. You have to force other nations into seeing how strong one force truly is by not only defeating them, but humiliating them. Only then will war stop. The peace that you wish for is nothing more than the wishful thinking. Madara-sensei had the right idea. Uchiha Madara was the one who was responsible for forming the Konoha military police force en route. I thought Root's goal was to protect. War will only cause pain. Your goals are no different from Akatsuki's. A smile formed on Danzu's face. Root goals are Akatsuki goals. About 6 members wearing Akatsuki cloaks appeared surrounding Sai. This can't be. Akatsuki was eliminated. Little naive Sai, I won't kill you here, but I will say this. Akatsuki is the hand that guides the world. Konoha happens to be a nation that I favor since it is home to me and my master. That being the case, I will make sure that it stands above the rest once I take control. You are a member of Akatsuki, but I thought that we had fallen. Since the loss and betrayal of Uchiha Itachi, we have remained low-key watching from the shadows. Danzu walked towards Sai. That doesn't explain anything. I have explained all that I need for you to know. This war is only the beginning. Trust me when I say that no one can stop us. You should have never followed the rabbit hole. You now know what is really at the root of the great tree in which the leaves reside. Danzu stopped about 10 feet in front of Sai. Before Sai could react, he felt a sharp pain in his neck as he hit the ground. A cloaked member stood behind the fallen shinobi. When the shinobi pulled kunai out to finish the job, Danzu raised his hand. No, I will spare his life this once. The cloaked shinobi spoke. Doesn't matter, he will die when they come anyway. True, but he will be our voice. For now, we will fade back into the shadows and wait. Was Kumoko ever recovered? Danzu asked. Yes, but she was on the verge of death. In fact, she is still in critical condition. The cloaked member behind Danzu stated. She has her father's potential, we can use her, but if she dies then so be it. It will not be a major loss. Danzu said to cloaked fighter. Well Danzu, I don't think that it is wise for you to remain here in Konoha. When he wakes up he will no doubt warn everyone about us. Looking at the cloaked member, Danzu nodded. That is what, Master, wishes. So what about Uchiha Sasuke? One of the members asked. We leave him for now. When we get the orders we will strike. For now we fade back into the shadows. Everyone blurred out of view. Danzu looked at Sai. Foolish boy. You could have been at my side, but you chose to die with them. When they come, there will be no mercy for you or anyone. You chose the wrong side, Sai. This is only the beginning. Danzu faded out view, leaving an unconscious Sai behind. Stadium. A cloud of dirt decorated the air, blocking everyone's visual. Slowly the dust cleared and Senzairu was the only one standing. Scanning the area, he couldn't find Aizu anywhere. He's not dead, he's cloaked himself very well. A distance away, Sasuke and Hayami was observing the battle. Sasuke took note of Aisu's disappearance. He's not dead, so where could he be? Activating his Sharingan, Sasuke scanned the area for Aisu's chakra. After scanning the area Senzairu resided in, Sasuke's eyes widened at what he saw. What the? It was only an instant, but Senzairu felt the chakra beneath him. Jumping back to avoid red chakra that shot from the ground, Senzairu avoided the attack just in time. Demonic slice, he has gotten better with it. Senzairu's eyes widened when he sensed Aisu's presence is about 10 feet behind him. With a horizontal slash, attacking nothing, Senzairu turned around and had started to jump in the air but didn't get the chance. He was split in half from the waist. Slowly, his torso fell to the ground, as did his lower half. Aizu smiled triumphant. His smile soon faded when, upon hitting the ground, his torso and his lower half turned into multicolor phoenixes. Looking to his left, Aizu saw Senzairu glaring at him. So you were able to dodge Silent Curse, surprising since it was an attack that isn't visible or something can't be heard. You forget I know how you fight, Aizu. Besides, Silent Curse wasn't executed with that slash, it was executed before that. I know that you don't need to use your sword for that jutsu. The fact was my bushin was already cut in half before you completed your slash. Senzairu smiled at his nemesis. You're able to read me, just like I'm able to read you. We are getting nowhere with this battle, Senzairu, which is why I will reduce everything to ashes. Raising his sword high above his head, his crimson eyes started to glow and black chakra encapsulated his body. A black dragon shot from the sword and made its way toward the heavens. When the dragon was high enough to be visible by all of Konoha, Aizu thrust the sword down, causing the dragon to bullet back toward his location. Jiraiya's eyes widened. If that hits, we are all done for. Naya agreed. We have to reinforce the shield. It doesn't matter, there is nothing we can do. When that hits, we are all dead. Savia stated. Senzairu, however, had something else in mind. Red-orange flames encased his body and his ember-colored eyes shined brightly. Twirling the blade at the hilt, he placed his right arm on the hilt underneath his left hand. As the dragon drew closer, Senzairu stabbed the earth. Just when the dragon hit, there was an explosion of red, orange, and black flames. Before anyone knew, the flames fused, forming purple flames that swept through Konoha in an instant. Before Sasuke could shield himself, the flame swallowed up both him and Hayami. Sasuke thought he was dead, but what surprised him was that the flames didn't harm him. He did notice that the purple flames were slowly turning red-orange. As he and Hayami stood in the flames, he couldn't help but wonder what the hell was going on. Glaring at one another, Aizu and Senzaru both was tired of this battle that seemed to be at a standstill. Aizu was standing within Senzaru's attack with a black flame shield. This battle is going nowhere. For every move he has, I have a counter, and vice versa. Leviathan Phoenix Fire is useless since he can shield himself with the black flame, and Vast Fire of the Dragon will always be cancelled out by Leviathan Phoenix Fire. I didn't want to do this, but I have no choice. Raising his sword toward the heavens, the flames were getting sucked back into the blade. It only took a few seconds for all of the flames that engulfed Konoha to disappear into the blade. Aizu's black flame dispersed and he started to laugh. Seems like nothing is working here, eh? Your efforts to kill me are all futile. Bringing Phoenix Claw to his side, the blade disappeared in blue flames. You were right, I am getting nowhere with this. I have no other choice. Performing the necessary hand sign, Senzaru brought his hands together, forming the tiger seal. Asuma, Genma, and Kurenai were the only ones present who recognized the jutsu. Kurenai's first reaction: no, he can't do this, not again. Asuma's cigarette had hit the ground. He turned to Naya and yelled, bring the shield down, we have to stop him. Tsunade was thinking the same thing. She lost Naruto, there was no way that she would lose her son as well. Naya, Jiraiya, and Savaya, bring it down now. I'm sorry Tsunade-sensei, but Senzaru requested that I make sure that you nor anyone else interfere if it comes to this. I'm sorry. Tsunade was furious. She charged Naya to knock her out, but when she aimed a punch at her head, a force field stopped her punch. Chuan continued to punch the shield with tears streaming down her eyes. Yugao didn't do anything except stare at Senzaru, who was returning the gaze. She didn't have to hear his words, she knew by the sadness in his face that he was saying sorry. I guess I'm not meant to have love in this lifetime. Aizu didn't like what he was seeing, he knew this jutsu all too well. Shit, Angel of Death, I can't even move now. It's taking effect. I can't die like this, I have to fulfill my dream. Senzaru addressed everyone. Carson, I'm sorry, this must be done. Jiraiya, take care of my mother, okay? Yugao, I never wanted to hurt you, but this is for the better. The sacrifice I make isn't only for the villagers, but it is for the unborn child that grows inside of you. Everyone was shocked by the news. What? Think I wasn't aware? I know you are going to be a great mother. Kurenai, Asuma, as my best friends, could you two look after my kid as it was your own? Asuma nodded. Kurenai did as well. Limbo. Naruto was injured badly. Even though he was injured, he had no intention of quitting. Kneeling on the ground, with blood dripping down his forehead, he was curious to what he needed to do in order to become the bearer. What am I doing wrong? I'm fighting my heart out, I'm doing all I can, I am, wait, that's it. Raiho, who was standing before Naruto, smiled when it finally clicked, so he realizes what needs to be done. Naruto stood up slowly. He was still surrounded by about 4 dozen of the former wielders. He smiled at Raiho's father and addressed the older man. Hey old man, thanks for helping me understand. I couldn't hear it before because for as long as I could remember, the only person I ever relied on or trusted was myself. I see, to become the bearer I need to put my faith into sword. I need to put my faith into. To be continued. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.